We got a good one today.
Sure.
Always.
So what's the subject?
The subject is Sunday morning. Sunday morning. Sunday morning. We just got sources. I don't know if you could.
In the morning. And that's when
It says only admins can post to the group. But if anybody was interested in reading along with the tour,
the beach.
I'd send you. Or is
Could do that in fact.
Yeah, are you an admin or could you?
No.
So who could post to the group?
No admins here.
So no admins, but I sent it to Havdalah, so Rabbi can send it to anybody else that wants, sources to read along. So the subject of today, I think we're going to have a good time. It's great. It's can you eat after Havdalah? And what happens if somebody doesn't make Havdalah?
After Tuesday.
They have to Tuesday, but could they eat?
Very good. I just was reading this over the weekend.
If the food is good, you can.
If the food is good, okay. We have one vote for yes.
If it's healthy.
Depends.
If it's healthy.
If it's healthy, okay. Very smart. Well, Malcolm's a beautiful thing with Garden of Havdalah. What's the, how's it work?
I'll be back.
Okay. So we're going to,
I could send it.
anybody wants to read along in Havdalah?
What?
Avadia has really
Can you watch my back?
requested from Avadia.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're gonna do it. I'm gonna read, okay. So, in Siman, again, the tour, a lot of times you see, he begins Siman, or most, we've counted many times, is he begins the Siman with a vav, connecting. Because the tour is saying, like really describing what exactly are you going to, okay. You get chakras, and then after, then you do this. And then after, you do this. And then after, you do this. Say their harvest. Okay? Ba'aymer Havdalah. It says Havdalah in Fein and Adas. Reis Samachay. V'noyagim Lomer V'inoya. Right? Talking about V'inoya. So then we finish. Reis Samachay, we finished davening Ma'ariv on Shabbat. So Reis Samachay starts Seder Havdalah. This is how the Seder, the general thing of Havdalah is. The order of Havdalah is Yain, Bisamim, and Ner Havdalah. Okay? So then, in Reis, that's how the tour opens. And then he starts in Reis Haligvav, he discusses Yain, he discusses the wine. Then in Reis Haligzayin, he'll discuss the Bisamim. Reis Haligchatz Ner. And then in Reis Haligchatz, he talks about the general. I didn't actually learn Reis Haligchatz yet, general, but he talks about also like a general siman on Havdalah, concerning Havdalah. No, that. Yeah, Reis Haligzayin, Reis Haligchatz is Boyelim Bo'erei Eish, is the Eish. Reis Haligchatz is Nusach Havdalah. What does one say? Baruch Atah Hashem, and so on. And a lot of them, I didn't learn Reis Haligchatz yet. Yeah, and guess what Shin is? Halacha. Shin, Halacha. Shin is Halacha. That ends, just general, not that we didn't get into today's subject, but that ends the calendar, like the chronological laws of Shabbos. Shin over, Malcha. Okay, done. Shin Aleph, there's still many more laws and simanim concerning Shabbos. Muksa, Erev, Malachas, all those things which are not really time dependent, right? It's not in the Seder. That's what begins of Shin Aleph, right? The church says, if I'm going to teach you all that laws of Shabbos, it's going to be way too much. And then he explains and he introduces, now, but I'm going to teach you all the halachas of Shabbos, which are not necessarily at 5:01 p.m. or 5:01 a.m. on Shabbos. This is what you do, which is the order until now. So we're mamish at the tail end of Shabbos, and going back to Siman Reish Tzadik Vav, where the Alter Rebbe is introducing Havdalah itself, the Havdalah that we do ala kois. And he says, At the beginning, it says like that if somebody doesn't have wine, what do they do? He discusses could you make it on a mitzi? There's
Can make it on a vodka.
there's different opinions. They say no on mitzi, better chamar medina shechar, which is that itself is a discussion. But the Torah that already we spoke about that in Kiddush. What's shechar? What is chamar medina? Okay, and then. In the third simon, and this is the one we're going to focus on. This is the one we're going to focus on. And the Torah starts. Umi she'ein lo yayin. If somebody doesn't have wine, umitzapeh, but he anticipates she'yeh lo lemachar, that he's going to have wine tomorrow. Lo yochal. Don't eat ad lemachar until tomorrow. She'yavdil, until he does Havdalah then tomorrow. V'im ein lo. Now, okay. Now, v'im ein lo ela kaisecha. If somebody only has one cup, and he doesn't anticipate he's going to have tomorrow. It's better that he should eat before he does Havdalah, assuming a soda. It's better for him to eat, bench, and on the case that he's benching with, he should do also Birchat Hamazon and also Havdalah. The other end of what we'll do on when Havdalah when Shabbos is when Yom Tov falls at Motzei Shabbos and we do Havdalah and Kiddush. Over here it's saying do Havdalah and Birchat Hamazon if you only have one cup. Interesting, right? The end of the Torah better that than making Havdalah and then eating your meal and not having a kais for the meal. Okay. Why? Okay, so just fast forwarding a bit. This is like, I don't know, maybe it's like 70% clear because there's still like, what's going on? You're saying don't eat. The first halacha is saying you're not making Havdalah, you can't eat. If you anticipate you're gonna have one tomorrow, you can't eat. Whoa, no eating. And all of a sudden here next one we're saying, go ahead and eat. It's a little like there's something seems to be like something missing. Also, what's going on? You're eating.
This is the tour.
This is the tour. Right. So let's go. In order for this, let's go deeper into the Beis Yosef. The Beis Yosef is going to bring the source of the Gemara for this. And what I'm really leading up to this, why I chose this, I chose this because you'll see we'll see soon in the Mechaber from the Beis Yosef. We'll see that the Mechaber also breaks it down, but it's still, for me, it's not like we have questions or like what's really going on here, like how is that? And the Alter Rebbe then gives a lot more text to it, and you're like, that's what's going on, and you can really appreciate what the Alter Rebbe in this. We'll see. Okay, so now we're going and we're going to find the source in the Gemara. The Torah. This is based on a Gemara. Let's see.
Man, I just come to your house.
Sure.
Saturday night.
Huh?
Saturday night.
The Torah also speaks about that. Base Knesset, how does it work? Can you make brachas? But anyway, it's a lot of good stuff. Baruch Hashem. Why? Okay. So this actually, I started a little bit later. So let's go. Interesting. Where's the place to start? The only in the Gemara? Got that. I was thinking if the basis of promotes the whole Gemara.
I said to you, try, that's all I have. Where is it? I said,
10:15, okay, 10:15.
Right here. You send it here.
Okay.
it's not.
So,
Flip a coin.
We gotta finish the contract.
Just flip a coin.
052 was here.
Yeah, we have to set you up.
What's that?
I have to put you in as a contract. Right?
You can, but you can send it to directly also, and it'll just pop up.
When we walk up.
Interesting. Okay. I thought that it was what the Gemara. So we'll have to bring the Gemara. I want to bring the Gemara, and we'll see in the Gemara. Everything will be a lot more clear. Sham Nun Beis Amud Aleph. This is a different. It's there we go. Oh, here we go. Okay. Yeah. I was looking at the Bach. So, that's why we're getting the business in the basis. Okay. Somebody doesn't have wine, but they anticipate that they're going to have tomorrow. We brought that. I just went over this. That's what the base Yosef comments on. The Perek Arvei Psachim, that he brings it from the Gemara at the end of Psachim. Amar le Mar Yanuka le Ravashi. Mar Yanuka says to Ravashi, this is from the Gemara. Zimachada, one time, Ikla Ameimar La'askin. Ameimar, he came to our city. We brought him, there was no wine. I seen on my shikra, we brought him shekha, we brought him beer. And he did not do Havdalah. Ubastavas. Bastavas. What's bastavas? Pirush long shum me'umet. So Rashi comments, what's bastavas? He slept on an empty stomach. You know the story of Herschel?
Marshall?
Herschel Osterpola? Herschel Osterpola says that he was Herschel jokes. He was like a character, Herschel Osterpola. There's a lot of I would say jokes, but fun, like he used to do shtick. So Herschel, the story, Herschel's brother said he once came to an inn and he said, or whatever, he said, and he was hungry for the death. He came in and he said, if you're not going to give me food, I'm going to do what my father did. Oh, everybody was very nervous. Right away they brought him food. So at the end they said, whoa, Herschel, what did your father do when he didn't get, when they didn't? He said, oh, my father, he went to sleep on. He said, if you're not going to do it to me, you're not going to give me the food right now, I'm going to do to you what my father did. What did your father do? He went to sleep hungry. After he got the food ready. Anyway, it's Herschel. So, Amemar went to sleep ubas tabas. Long shumu'una. He went to sleep on an empty stomach. He didn't eat. So, Limbochar Krachana, they worked very hard. They bought him wine. Ba'avdil v'toimidi. He did Havdalah and he ate something. That's the Gemara, right? It's beautiful. It's a Gemara. There's a whole side of it about wine or sheikhar. Well, we're not going to go into that. But there is a lot of Rishonim that extract from that story for a lot of make on sheikhar. But we're going to focus on the eating part of here. Okay? Because of Rosh. Now the Rosh says, he writes, I'm reading the email, So then the Rosh right away says, hold on. We see there's another source that says if a person has one kais, he leaves it and he eats before. So the Rosh brings up this question. This Gemara is saying, don't eat. Rabbi are saying, no, don't eat. If you don't have wine, don't eat. And another source that says, if he has only one kais, he should use it for Birchas Hamazon. He should eat. What's going on there? How could they both work? So then, right? So we're dealing with an issue over here. It says that Rabbeinu Nissen. So Rabbeinu Nissen says, yeah, the case in where you only have one kais is where he was eating prior to Shabbos ending, and now Shabbos ends. Should he do Havdalah and continue eating? Like Peiris Mako Makadesh type of thing? Peiris Mako Mabdil? Or should he wait until the end of his meal, finish his meal, and do Birchas Hamazon with Havdalah? You understand? It's saying, really, Midrash right, if that's the case. If you finish Shabbos, you're not in the middle of a meal, no eating until you do Havdalah. This case, this source that says, do Havdalah together with Birchas Hamazon is doing what where somebody already started their meal. And they're finishing, already gives a little bit of clarity, a little bit of definition to what we're talking about. What are these two sources? Which in the Torah, it's like, no eating, yes eating, but it's still very...
When you would finish the third meal,
Yeah.
Birchas Hamazon.
Exactly. Way after Shabbos, an hour after Shabbos, whatever.
And then say it, right?
That's the way that the Rabbeinu Nissen, what's his name, understands. V'ri tirutz in Tosfos Harash. Devada imei leikos mitzap l'machal l'mtzedek leikos lo yoichol kol halayla li'yanta l'machal sheyada leikos אבל אם יש leikos ואין מצפה שיהיה לו למachal yain yeser mutav sheichol kedem sheyada v'barabaz Havdalah lo yisek leikos v'ma sheyavdil al hakois b'var Birchas Hamazon b'leikos ad kav sheinai. So the Ri does not say that it's talking about somebody that does not say that it's talking about somebody. It's saying, the Ri doesn't say like Rabbeinu Nissen. The Ri says, no, we're talking about where somebody has one kais, and they're not going to get tomorrow. Back in the days, wine wasn't, they knew we're not going to be able to get wine tomorrow. Where we're getting wine from. It was who knows where, they were in the village, there was no wine. Things like that happened, I guess. So now he's after Shabbos. He knows he's not getting more wine. He's going to eat a meal. And Ri says, you're automatically, by virtue of the fact that you're not going to get, I think, this is again his interpretation, but by the fact that you know that you're not going to have a wine tomorrow already makes you allowed to eat. So you're technically allowed to eat. But now you're going to eat, it's much better that you should use that one kais that you have, in a way that satisfies both. That's kind of the way where it's going, but don't worry, because the ultimate is you'll already see everything is all these opinions will become a lot more defined. But that's generally the contrast. Rabbeinu Nissen who said, no, the guy's already eating from Shabbos, and that's why this is allowed. Otherwise it's not allowed. So the reason is no, it's more by the fact that there's no wine tomorrow, so now he's already technically allowed to eat, and now you have one kais, do it in a way that you can get both, because right, Birchas Hamazon, to a kais, you need a kais for Birchas Hamazon, which again, the Alter Rebbe is going to highlight that and say, this is all obviously hinted. Anyway, we'll get there shortly. We better get to the worms of in Mishama Yichriya, K'divrei Bateis V'Sham, Kosmo K'yetz B'Zav, B'Zal Shani, V'Yesh Lam Nishani Ameima. It says, I mean, in these other sources, the other Rishonim are going, they see like they're saying, echoing what the Re says. And this is their language. The Yisroel, they say, the Shani Amemar is different. He understood, they're saying that the crux of it is that he understood that he's going to have a wine tomorrow. So you understand, you know that you're going to have wine tomorrow, then don't eat. From their language, it's implied that if a person does not anticipate that they're going to have wine the next day, they can eat right away. Even if they don't have a wine right now. But
Is what you're talking about? Go ahead and eat.
if somebody doesn't have, we're saying if somebody didn't do Havdalah, they didn't have wine for Havdalah, they did, let's say they didn't do Havdalah, because if you could do wine, they didn't do Havdalah. Could they eat? So we bring from the Gemara, he didn't eat. He didn't make Havdalah, he held up till tomorrow. But then we brought another source that showed how somebody, the Gemara says, by the way, if you only have one cup for Havdalah, this is what you should do. Eat, and when you're doing Birchat Hamazon, the cup that you use for Birchat Hamazon, do Havdalah on that. But that's saying the opposite thing over here. That's saying that you could eat before Havdalah on Friday night, on Motzei
Do
Shabbos.
the Malka first, it says, and then you.
Yeah, do the Malva, you wash it, do the Malva Malta, and then do it with Havdalah. But that means these two sources are in contradiction.
Right.
So they're reconciling them. So the Ran reconciles and says, no, it's not talking about Malva Malka, it's talking about Suda Shlishis. The person already started eating before Shabbos. Really, you're right. If it was after Shabbos, no eating. Can't eat until Havdalah. But it's before Shabbos. So now he has two options. He started his meal in Suda Shlishis. Now either he can go and make Havdalah, or you can hold off till later. You can hold off till later to the end of the meal and then get both with the same cup. Two birds with one cup of wine. Two birds with two mitzvahs with one cup of wine. It's good. Better to do that. But okay, so that's one way of reconciling. The second way of reconciling it, that the other versions say, they say no. Immediately when tomorrow we know that there's no wine that's coming, everything changes. If we know that tomorrow there's a sufficient wine, then hold off, don't eat, wait till tomorrow. But now that you know that there is no wine coming, but this is all you're left with. So now you have a either or situation. If you're going to make Havdalah with that wine, great, but you're not going to have to Birchas Hamazon on a place. So it's true, Havdalah on wine is an amazing thing, it's great, but one is going to negate the other. Whereas if you do Havdalah, Birchas Hamazon on the kois, and you do Havdalah together, you get them both. So that's what the other Rishonim are, how they're reconciling it. It hinges on what you anticipate. A member anticipated enough wine, it was enough for everything, it just wasn't there. So I'll wait.
It's wine and grape juice is good.
Different topic. That's in Simon Beis.
You can do it.
If you could do it on lechem, if you do it on shechar, what to do? And it also comes from this, because again, the story says that they brought him shechar. They brought him beer, which was grape juice. Maybe grape juice is shechar. I don't know. That you have to see over there.
When they know if there was grape juice coming tomorrow.
Got it. So, but probably not, because they brought him shechar on the time, so they probably had plenty of shechar. But
What if you have one cup?
Mhm.
It's a fairly big size cup. Can you drink half?
very good, very good. So the Beis Yosef brings it as a qualifier. He says, and there's no way you could, because there's two solutions that you could do, which is a very good point. Number one, you could drink the cup and make sure that there's a revius left, okay, and which would be a good option. So the Beis Yosef says, no, we're talking about a case where there was a pure beast. But even then, you could do muzzles. You could add water to it. So the Beis Yosef says, no, we're also talking about a case where it was totally diluted to the max. So it's literally, you get the one cup and that's it. Which in those days, it was probably common like that. They just didn't have infinite wine. Or almost infinite wine like we have. So we're talking about a case where there only is one cup for the reason that you brought up.
I
That
have two problems.
uh-oh.
One problem.
Problems.
Wine comes from the Amazon.
Uh-huh.
Don't we use it only if there is at least musulman?
What? Very good. Very good. I was never going to talk about it.
And then there is another thing.
Mm-hmm.
The second question. In the Beta Knesset where I go,
Mm-hmm.
some 20 minutes before Nach,
Mm-hmm.
they say you don't eat.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you relate? You don't eat for 20 minutes before Nach.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't eat, you make Birkat Hamazon. If you slept even after Shabbos,
Mhm.
you cannot eat in between.
You could.
Yes.
You could, sure. If you're,
So the
if you're middle of Sudan, yeah. They do it even during Sudan.
They make Sudat Shinishim, let's say.
And they wash, or they bench, or they say no more eating.
They
Even
say no more eating.
even if
they
they're
sing.
middle of Sudan.
They sing. They make Birkat Hamazon.
Okay. Maybe it's I don't know the details. Maybe it's part of that Shkam, but
No,
we-
they are Bakas.
Mhm. It could be. It could be. I think of
But
as far as I understand.
Birkat Hamazon of Mezuman or no Mezuman Yain, if one is alone, it doesn't make
On a place. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. The author is going to discuss it. Okay. וכן כתוב בקול, יומש בשדס לבן ניסים ותריסמוס בראש, רבין במדינה בסטאבס. וכן כתוב הרב יינה, בפרק אילו דבורים, ודס הגוירים, וכן יינה בדברי הריף. So now, the Beisuta points out that this Bastavas, which we said was going to sleep fasting, that the Gemara is all right now taken for granted. Everybody's kind of saying that this is, he did Medina. What's Medina? This is the law. You're not allowed to eat. No wine, no wine, no food. Everybody holds that. Even Rabbeinu Nissim seems to be saying that. Because he says, what we see from this source of Amemar is no eating. So how could the other source say that there is eating? Right? But there is another interpretation with the Rishonim. And they say Amemar, not Medina Bastavas, not, which means he didn't fast Medin. He was doing a chumrah.
Humorous person.
He was doing a chumrah. That's not the. He didn't say that that's the halacha. No eating. No. And what does it come out? And this is what the Tosfos and a lot of Rishonim hold that it is Medina. Now, the way we learn on Meimar is Medina, no eating until after Havdalah. We'll see what the psak is like. Aber Tosfos tirtoi da Meimar da Bastavas machmer al atzmai. L'zei skimar Rabbeinu Yoina. The Rabbeinu Yoina holds like this. The perek ein oindim. The Gemara Baskin goes to the Medina mutter the time. Medina mutter, no problem. Person doesn't have wine. Go ahead. If you ain't like case. Well, if you look maybe it's like case, it doesn't matter if you think that wine's coming tomorrow or not coming tomorrow. A person doesn't have to fast. It's a chumrah. That's the way that v'chein kasav ha'agar, another issue that's the agar also writes b'shem shilei haleket, shilei haleket. V'chein ereshu das Rambam shehish midaber zeh. Right? This same thing is implied that this is what the Rambam holds because the Rambam leaves something out. I'm not getting into what the Rambam leaves out. I'm not fresh with that as well. That's the base Joseph's synopsis. Clearer. A little more verbiage over here, what's going on, different more context, the Rishonim, the Gemara, where things are coming from, but still, we'll see. Still, the Alter Rebbe is going to fill in a lot of filler over here. That's going to be like and also like give it in a way that you really like. Okay, so there's that. And we'll see. Also, we'll go through that momentarily. But before that, I want to go through the Darkei Moshe, which is the precursor to the Ramah. The Ramah's Pirush. The Ramah's Pirush on the tour. Then also, like similar to the Beis Yosef, that becomes the psakim of the Ramah in the Shulchan Aruch. Okay? Good. Let's do it. Darkei Moshe. What? Where is it? Darkei Moshe, yeah. Umil minis chasidus u'shaloi loichol g'damrina ba'amrina is a love betainis. The Ramah right away throws in that seems like he does hold the psak is like the final Rishonim that we brought, that You don't have to, it's not usher, but the Ramah says, Midas Chasidis. It's the way of piety.
It's a chumrah again.
Who shall I when the Ramah says Midas Chasidis not to, as Ashkenazim, we're going to be. That's basically like don't eat until Havdalah.
Let me do the chumrah.
Yeah, we know the basis for it. We know we know under the hood what's going on. Now, Ramah is saying not michumra bastavas. It was a chumrah. Fine. But still, the Ramah says, so we find by Amemar that he actually slept, he didn't eat. Even though, okay, it wasn't halacha, it was a chumrah, but he still did. Okay, good. Let's go. And where are we on time?
We have.
You got 15 minutes.
Amazing, perfect.
What about
Huh? Yeah, we're gonna do good. We may even have time for Q&A. We'll see.
Where's the Rabbi hold on the third meal anyway?
Whoa!
That's what I was asking you yesterday, yes.
Why are you stirring up bombs?
Yeah, don't cause problems. What do you like to
That really has to be a shiur. I don't know if we can consider it a nigla. It's going to be a sicha because the Rebbe has a sicha where he also so there's several sichas which deal with things of this like where the Alter Rebbe in Shulchan Aruch says clearly one thing. For example, sleep in a sukkah, right? And the practice is not as such. And the Rebbe has a sicha explaining that, and also for the shlishis is one of those. And it's a very, very, these are obviously very fine-tuned. There's a whole bunch of sources on the bottom and to really, hold with the Rebbe. But if you're really interested, there is material on it. And I think,
That question made me think about something that happened last night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was always taught you should try and start sushi sheet before skia.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I always do.
Mhm.
So a lot of times my wife is around in the park. We gotta go. But anyway, a lot of times we're at the park. My wife said, I tell them, we gotta go. You're gonna. So well, we were at the Rabbi's house last night. It was after skia.
It was?
It was after skia.
Okay.
And we started sushi sheet after.
Okay.
So my wife is going, why have you always told us?
Yeah.
The rabbi did it, and I'm like,
I mean, it's a hard, how do you say, I mean, I'm a Chabadnik, so, when it comes to times, on one end, we're very, very time, like, Zman Kriya Shema, I mean, of course, it's the Daraisa. We're not like fickle with time, but one thing you are, and I think it's Chabad with time, is you on one hand for ourselves, we ought to be very, very, very conscious of times, of zmanim tefillah, and things like that. But in terms of maybe tochacha or like just reprimanding or maybe called not judging, and I'm not insinuating that you were judging them. You're just asking what you're just asking how does it work? I think when it comes to other people,
rebel about.
so I would really honestly, if I would in good faith, I would ask him himself what's the it could be, and we're all not everybody is perfect, and sometimes you find and all of a sudden you realize that you're running right, and then you may kiddush after shkia and things like this happen or whatever all the time. It happened to me. I'm saying we try. We're Hashem, there's a lot to do, and not everybody's like yak and litvak, that we hit the net. I know.
Like this, and
Yeah. So no, but it's a good thing. It's not like you're wrong, but it's maybe ask it in good faith. It could be, again, it could be that the answer will be like, we try. I try my best, and I don't know. Even rabbis are sometimes running a little late. You know what I'm saying? Like it's anyway, just like with good with understanding.
because we did it late, what does that do to it in effect? What is?
Again, I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know the under the hood of what happened. You have to talk to you have to have a conversation with him directly about it, and hear his side, and yeah. Anyway,
The main thing is, what I said about what I learned from the rabbis was correct. It should be, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I have to address my wife.
Yeah. No, of course. L'chatchila, you're supposed to wash before shkia, because otherwise then you run into the problem. It's interesting, that itself is the thing, is because it's not Havdalah, because it's not this amount of Havdalah. I think it's more of like, it's interesting to really, honestly, look, to understand, why don't we eat after shkia? That's the question. Why don't we eat after shkia? Because over here it seems to be talking about Havdalah. Havdalah is after tzeis. Why can't we eat after shkia? Where does that even come from? Right? I mean, I don't know the answer to that, but it's well known enough that there is something there, because that's what I've been doing my whole life. That's known. You know, after shkia, you don't eat. You don't start eating. But it would be interesting, and maybe, we can, do that in next week or something, or the next time we could look into why we don't eat it after shkia, or I could show you the simon that deals with it, and whatever. Well, it's worth looking into, and then you can understand a little more, and then you go to the rabbi and say, oh, I learned that, or maybe this is what he's going on, or I don't know, what's the basis for it? Okay. Let's do Reis Salig Vav. So now we're in the Beis Yosef. And the Beis Yosef says, Im ein lo yayin, Gimel. Im ein lo yayin, if he doesn't have wine, v'lo shecher, or beer, v'shar mashkin, or grape juice, or anything. Yesh aimim shemutar lo l'achlo, there is an opinion that says that you can eat. V'yesh aimim, right? There's an opinion that says you can eat right away. Who's that opinion? That's the final opinion brought in the what we said in the Beis Yosef, that Bastavas is not medin. What Ameimar did was not medin. You're allowed to eat. The Yeshayim no. There are those that say no. She'im it's up again. This is the second. This is the opinion of not the Ran. This is the opinion of the Taisvas that says it's conditional. The whole point over here is that about mitzvah, that he anticipated one coming or not. If he anticipates that he's going to have tomorrow, he shouldn't eat until he does a dollar next day. If he doesn't have a kais, if he only has one kais, and he knows he doesn't know, no wine is coming. Better eat before you do Havdalah. Eat your malga and then do birchas hamazon. And then in the birchas hamazon, you should do Havdalah. Better to do that. Better to do that than to do birchas hamazon later on. And here the Beis Yosef puts in a whole thing. This is all considering the opinion, that this is all founded on the opinion that the birchas hamazon, it's critical that it has a kais. Which again, practically we don't hold that. Or at least in Chabad, we're not very makbid to have a kais on birchas hamazon. This whole that we're building up, this whole discussion amongst the Rishonim is predicated on the fact that birchas hamazon must be done with a kais. However, even if you have one cup, if you're not makbid on having a kais, so you can have a meal before Havdalah, right? Important point. Okay. And now, what my first name?
Eliyahu.
Eliyahu. Now Eliyahu's point. Umaydi, and this all is talking about that this case that we're talking about, Ela Revi'is, B'tzimtzum, it was exactly a Revi'is. The Kvar Haya Mazel Kedina, and it was already diluted to its limit. If we would put more wine, water, wouldn't be any more fit to drink. Because if this is the case, everybody would say, make Havdalah, drink a little bit, and then add, no problem, solution, problem solved. The Beis Yosef. That's no Rama. Interesting. The Ramah says, we said, go, the Ramah, we already saw in the documentary, the Ramah says, better attack, don't eat. If better don't eat, if there's going to be, under any circumstances, or if you see that tomorrow that there's going to be, it's interesting, would the Ramah say better don't eat, even if you don't anticipate a cup coming tomorrow? That would be, that's not so clear. Let's go into the Alter Rebbe. The Alter Rebbe is going to, we'll see, it's going to be laid out. You know what we call the Shulchan Aruch? Why it's Shulchan Aruch? It's the set table. Because these tzaddikim, they said we want halacha to be like, I'll say, come in, Tasud Shabbos, it's fish, forks, it's nice. The table is set here. Just go ahead, it's all set for you. Now just enjoy. This is the aim of these tzaddikim to give to make halacha like a set table. Okay, let's jump right in. Okay, in the beginning again, we're in Reish Tzadik Vav, yeah. Okay. It's beautiful. Okay. There's a lot of things I'm going over, but there's unbelievable things in Havdalah that are just like. This is one example. There's a minute to pour wine on the floor because it starts off like you're starting your week with shefa. Yeah. The Alter Rebbe says, but we're yotze with overflowing the cup. And maybe that's where it comes from. Why? Because if you technically fill up your cup, and now before you start, you pour it over, so then you're not making Havdalah on a full cup. And if when you're ready to make the bracha, you pour it out. Sorry, and then if you already make the bracha, and then you pour it out, then it's showing like you're not. Then you're showing kilo mos. It's showing like you're pouring it out, and then you're making a blessing. You're showing like you don't really like it. You're like I don't like this. So better. The Alter Rebbe says practically good fix. Just when you're, because you have your hands tied. What are you doing? Don't worry. Just pour it up and pour so much that it overflows. And you were yikes at to have that spillage, the shefa. Okay, anyway, interesting, beautiful, it's beautiful, right?
My wife's family's Spartan.
Uh-huh.
So the leftover that spills over out of the cup, after it's over with, they save it and they put it in a bag and they tie it and they put it at the front, outside the front door.
Yeah.
Supposed to be that.
For how long?
Interesting.
For a while.
Yeah, I didn't see that in the course of from the basics, but maybe, yeah. No, I don't ask questions on Spartans. I learned my lesson on that.
Not just Spartans.
Okay, okay. Misha in the Motzei Shabbos L'Choel, Lo Yain V'Lo Shar Mashra Medina, V'Yam Shalom Zeh B'Layla Adam HaChaviyeh. Alter Rebbe says. Okay. If somebody doesn't have from Shabbos going into weekday, right? The Alter Rebbe specifies that. Dafke Shabbos going into weekday. Lo yain, not wine, but lo shar mashkin. Lo chamer medina. He doesn't have beer, nothing. And he cannot find until tomorrow. Yes, there are those that say Shemut Minadin. Im Hiska Havdalah B'Tfilah. The opinion of the Ramah. There are those that say you're ready to Havdalah in Shemona Esrei. No problem. I, a Neymar, didn't eat till tomorrow. But Midas Chasidus, it's a way of Chasidus not to eat till tomorrow. Opinion of the Ramah. Right? Let's see if they quote the Ramah. They bring it to Ramah over here. Ramah, sit base. There are those that say, you're not allowed to eat. If you anticipate, but yeah, like this, they'll have tomorrow, they'll have a curse, Havdalah. But if he doesn't anticipate that he's going to have wine tomorrow, but so we don't say, too bad, no eating until you find wine. No, we don't say that. If he doesn't foresee that he's going to have the wine, then we say right away, Adam, after Matzah Shabbos miyad. So if you already don't anticipate, then min adin you're allowed to eat right away. Well, the Indian halacha, and the Rabbi says, according to halacha, yesh la'achmir kisvara achreina. You should be machmir like the svara achreina. That says it depends on it. If you see that there's one that you have tomorrow, don't eat. Okay? But if somebody is a weak person, it's very hard for him to fast. So then he's able to be saimech on the Ramah. This is the Ramah that it's only Midas Chassidus. And he's not able to, he's not strong enough to do it. So eat right away. Right away brings the first, which is the first layer of the machlokes. There's the way of looking at it from the Ramah. Bastavas is not Medina, it's a Chumrah, or the way of the other Rishonim that say no, this is Halacha, Medina. If somebody anticipates wine coming tomorrow, no eating. Sorry, no eating. And the Alter Rebbe says, if you're strong enough, be saimech on the far as shine. Person not, then they could hold like the Ramah, they can decide to go into the Ramah. And then, even though the Ramah says you should still do it, but obviously, if Mitzvah Chassidus, if somebody's weak, then that's
From when to when?
huh?
Till when? You said fasting.
Yeah. Sorry?
What is it?
Meaning, if somebody sees, there's one way of looking at it. Either no eating before Havdalah. If you're going to have wine coming now, today, on Sunday, you anticipate wine, you're usher to eat. No eating. Okay? Mm-hmm. So Alter Rebbe says, but what happens if somebody is weak? Not going to be able to fast. So you could be silent on the Shita of the Ramah that's based on the Rishonim that understand, that we said, that they understand the Gemara to be saying that Amemar was doing a Chumrah. And then you're saying, okay, it's still better not to eat till tomorrow, but it's a Chumrah. And when a person's weak, they obviously shouldn't put themselves in trouble for a Chumrah. They're not allowed. Okay. Now we're going to do the second layer. That's one set. What time is it?
11.
11. Okay, we'll try to do it. We'll do it fast in 3 minutes. The person only has 1 cup. Remember, this is all we said in your base was no cup. Nothing's coming until tomorrow. Now, what happens is if somebody has 1 cup, who writes a list and he wants to do a Suda, but now if he uses his 1 cup for this Havdalah, he used to be made a Revius, and he drinks a Revius, he's not going to be able to use have a question for Birchas Hamazon. Again, now I'm going to say what the Beis Yosef brought, which was Eliyahu's point. He's not able to add to be able to bring it back up to Rabbi. So he's got because it was already diluted. So then, what should a person do? They only have that 1 Rabbi. So the other Rabbi says, Havdalah, make your student first. And use the Birchas Hamazon on this case. Do make Havdalah along with Birchas Hamazon. Should say why it's better. Because one trumps the other. It's better that he should do one. We should push away the prohibition against eating before Havdalah, which would then result in not being able to do Birchas Hamazon on the case. So that's what I'm saying. So the solution is use them both for Birchas Hamazon, and yeah, he will be eating before Havdalah, which we said is not Zahar. But when does it apply? When he knows that he's not going to have a case tomorrow. He has the case now, but no case is coming tomorrow. Also, Lolitim Klum, Kreative Shayavil, Elamabla, Kais Zeshiet, Lamamata Shabbos, Below Yisa that Shayaviu, like Kais Lamagar, the Birkas Lamazan, Kimashit is by because Labdala, Kimashit is by because Labdala, Lisbi, the feast bar right now. So the Rebbe, this is probably the biggest thing, the biggest gap that the Alter Rebbe fills in, is we spoke about that when a person has one cup, what they do. But there's a deal. It says that he has a cup, but he's not going to have anything tomorrow. Why? What does it make a difference if he has anything tomorrow or not? So the Alter Rebbe says that it hinges on that. Because let's say we have one cup right now, and we said what's better to do is use it for Rifat and Havdalah. That's only if you're not going to get a kos tomorrow. But if you're going to get a kos tomorrow, those opinions would say, no, do Havdalah and do your Birchas Hamazon on a kos tomorrow. Which is very interesting. Like, anyway, it needs like thought. I'm like, well, what's the inner working? How does that actually work? Why not? So tonight I shouldn't eat Malka, I shouldn't have it with a kos? What is tomorrow having a kos for Birchas Hamazon help me, that I shouldn't do it tonight? Interesting, right? אבל לפי סברה הראשונה, שאין צורך להמתין לאכול עד שיביאו למחר גויס, לדבר גם צריך לצורך להמתין ולסד עד למחר שיגיעו לגויס לברכס המאזן, אלא ידע שלסד מיד, ולברך בלי קייס. לברך בלי קייס, ולכן יסד קודם שיעבד על הקייס זה, שיש לו כדי שיברך ברכס המאזן על הקייס כמו שיסבער. So what the Rebbe, what the Alter Rebbe is saying is that the not having, it's interesting, but it needs to be developed more and thought about. But the Rebbe is saying, according to the first svara, again going back to base, that you're really allowed to eat b'chol if you don't have a kos tomorrow, you're allowed to eat. So also there, no problem. You're because it's like. The Christ the next day having a thing of wine or not having a thing of wine makes it, the having a wine makes it usher to eat. Having wine the next day makes it usher to eat. So it's like, anyway, I'm not going to go into it.
That might be.
Yeah. Because I wasn't doing a kos. And then the Alter Rebbe makes the point about this is all if you're insistent on doing Birchas Hamazon ala kos. Okay? Well, the Indian Maisa, keep it shalinifka. So now what do we do? Halacha l'maisa. Keep it shalinifka halacha. Like ha'imrim Birchas Hamazon doing a kos, like ha'imrim she'init doing a kos, l'chem mishanay lo'elam ge'imrim she'doing a kos, gamata yisad kedem Havdalah, aval im l'bam musebech l'hem she'init doing a kos, gamata yachas l'divrem v'lo yisad kedem Havdalah. Right? So it says, if you're somebody, if you are makbid on having a kos, so you should eat before your kos. If you're somebody that is not makbid to have Birchas Hamazon on a kos, then it is usher to eat before you do Havdalah. If somebody wants usher to do eat before you do Havdalah, unless then it really goes into the earlier machlekes, which is that a meimar fast because of din, or because of a chumrah. But it has nothing to do with the Birchas Hamazon. You have one cup, said it, make Havdalah. You don't have a cup. Could you fast? Could you just one cup tomorrow? Could you wait? So on. Kind of the rough, everybody.
Okay.
Pleasure. Sorry I went a little over.
Yeah. Have a good
And
week.
I'll see you Tuesday. We're doing a double session this week.